Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the SWAS College Football. Week 11 is continuing on Thursday night. We got UTSA on the road at South Florida, Georgia Southern on the road at App State. Midweek college football, Week 11. Let's talk about it. I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get the sauce. UTSA South Florida in what is the most exciting conference in college football right now. How do you not love what's going on in the American Athletic Conference right now? We just saw a banger last week between South Florida and Memphis. Obviously, South Florida gets the heartbreaking loss. They blew a 14-point fourth quarter lead to lose this one. They actually outgained Memphis 564 to 370 in the game. Outgained them 564 to 370. They lose 34-31. They actually had a field goal attempt to tie it, but they had a holding penalty that backed them up 10 yards. So the field goal was 10 yards deeper than it should have been. I mean, wild game. Wild football game start to finish. It felt like South Florida was the better team for about 3 quarters, and then Memphis beat them 17-0 in the fourth. Truly electric game. Doesn't get much better than that in terms of midweek Group of 5 football. So South Florida coming off a heartbreaker. Meanwhile, UTSA coming off the opposite of a heartbreaker. They put it on. Tulane. A shout out to UTSA for getting my over here. 48-26 was the final score. UTSA keeps the streak alive. Talking about 24 consecutive wins in the Alamo Dome. That team is just unbeatable in that place. 24 consecutive wins in the Alamo Dome. 24 consecutive home wins. There was some drama there, too. Summerall, the Tulane head coach, he made comments about UTSA pumping illegal extra noise into to the arena. Just a lot of fun here in this conference. So now we got UTSA South Florida. Here's the problem for the Roadrunners. This game is not at the Alamo Dome. It's at Raymond James. And if you subscribe to this channel, you've heard me talk about this repeatedly. This offense just never seems to look the same outside of the Alamo Dome. I mean, this is an arena football team or something. They're just so good indoors, but when they go outdoors, it doesn't look the same. Look at their splits this year. Over 48 points per game at home. Over 48 points per game. By the way, they were over 42 points per game last year at home as well. So this team, for whatever reason, goes nuts in the Alamo Dome, but you take them outdoors and they're averaging less than 20 points per game, success rate under 38%. Now, they've played tougher competition on the road, and we definitely should mention that. But 2 years in a row where there's a stark difference between UTSA's offense at home in the Dome and UTSA's offense outdoors. Raymond James Stadium, most definitely outdoors in Tampa. For those that didn't know, South Florida plays their home games in the same stadium that the Tampa Bay Bucks do. So, yeah, they're in Tampa. They're definitely outdoors. And they're not just going outdoors. They're going to play what is arguably the best defense in the conference in South Florida. On the season, South Florida's defense is 40th in success rate, 30th in PPA per play. It's even crazier when you take into consideration their schedule. They played Boise. They played Florida. They played Miami. They played Memphis. This team has played a very strong schedule and still has fringe top 40 defensive metrics. Now, UTSA might be getting their star receiver, Willie McCoy, back. He led the team in receiving last year. He's been out the entire season. So UTSA might be getting an extra offensive weapon back. And honestly, I wouldn't sleep on this UTSA offense. I know the splits outdoors look ugly, but, man, they're coming into this one with some confidence. Owen McCowan was essentially perfect last week, a 153.6 NFL passer rating, 375 yards, almost perfect from a clean pocket. He was 31 of 33 passing in the game, 31 of 33. Yes, it was in the Alamo Dome, but it was against Tulane. I mean, in terms of strongest, most resourceful defenses in the conference, it's Tulane, Memphis, South Florida. I mean, those are the top dogs right there. So it was against a very strong Tulane defense. So I don't want to just completely sleep on this UTSA offense just because the game is outdoors. And we did just see this South Florida defense get thrown on. Now, the Memphis offense is a lot different than UTSA's. I mean, Brendan Lewis, he threw for 307 yards, but he uses his mobility a lot in the passing attack, constantly moving the pocket. McCown is more of a pocket passer. Also, 307 yards, it looks great. Brandon Lewis dropped back to pass 44 times in the game, which makes 307 yards look not quite as great. But we have seen a pocket passer piece up the South Florida defense. Let's rewind back to week 3. Carson Beck. He's most definitely a pocket passer. Very efficient passing numbers in that game. Now, I'm not going to compare the UTSA offense to Miami's. And that game was also on the road at Hard Rock. But yeah, we have seen pocket passers throw on this South Florida defense. We saw Memphis throwing the ball on them. The point I'm making is it's not impossible that a team can throw the ball in this South Florida defense. Now, we don't want to ignore the positive data points. Against Boise, Florida, and North Texas, I mean, they played great defense against the pass. They held those 3 teams to 6.23 yards per pass attempt, under 40% success rate per dropback. So for the most part, South Florida's defense has been very strong against the pass, but there are a couple data points where we saw this defense get thrown on, and this is a defense that likes to blitz a lot. They're in the top 25 in the country in blitz rate. McCowan, great numbers against the blitz. He's also a guy who gets the ball out quickly. So, I mean, there is a path here, and I actually think UTSA can run the ball a little bit in this game. Robert Henry Jr. is one of the best running backs in the country. I know South Florida's got some pretty elite-looking numbers against the run this year, but if you look at their schedule, I mean, South Carolina State, Charlotte, North Texas throws the ball, FAU throws the ball. There's a lot of teams that can't/don't run it on there. If you isolate their numbers to just the games against teams that can run the ball, Boise, Florida, Miami, Memphis, numbers don't look that great. 48.1% success rate per rush. So when they've seen teams that can run the ball, they actually had some problems getting off the field at times. So I think UTSA actually can move the ball in this game. The question is, are they capable of making stops? Because Byron Brown, that South Florida offense looks strong right now. They're hoping to get their wide receiver 1, Chaz Nimrod, back. He's missed the last 2 games and is listed as questionable. But, I mean, they look fine without him on the season. And, again, you got to consider South Florida's schedule when you're looking at these numbers. On the season, 40th in success rate, 19th in PPA per play. If you watch that Memphis game, it kind of felt like Byron Brown had all day to throw for most of it, certainly the first 3 quarters. UTSA's pass rush has just been okay. It's nothing special. It's not a terrible pass rush, but it's nothing that scares you. Byron Brown's got great numbers from a clean pocket. Also, if you give him too much time, he could always use his legs. Yeah, it's tough to envision UTSA going on the road to Raymond James and making stops. I will say, though, when it comes to this UTSA defense, I know the numbers look shaky in the last 2 games. North Texas, they got absolutely lit up. And then Tulane was actually moving the ball. They just couldn't stop turning it over. So their defensive numbers from the last 2 games definitely look shaky. They were playing some really good defense in the 3 games prior to that. Now they played Rice, who runs an option. They played Temple, who's a step down offensively, and they played Colorado State, who has a broken offense this year. So they played some easier opponents, but heading into the last 2 games, UTSA was playing some solid defense. We missed this one, by the way, in terms of betting it. I was really considering grabbing UTSA plus 14.5. Is it down to 13.5 now? One sec. Yeah, it's mostly down to 13.5. It looks like you can still get a flat 14. So if you can get 14 or better, my pick for this game is UTSA. I think this line's a little bit overkill. I think UTSA can score. Give me the Roadrunners plus 14. Georgia Southern App State. This is a rivalry game, and what they call this rivalry is Deeper Than Hate. Not joking. That's actually what it's called, Deeper Than Hate. App State fans doing a whiteout for this one. So should be a cool atmosphere here for Georgia Southern coming in. In terms of their rivalry against App State, they're 4-4 in their last 8, so they've split 1-7 in their last 8 trips to Boone, though. So Georgia Southern has not had success going on the road to play this App State team. I think the number one question here is who's playing quarterback for App State. So in their last game, they played Old Dominion. They were getting killed. It was 24-7. Old Dominion was in complete control. AJ Swan, so let me take you on a full summary here. AJ Swan started the season at quarterback. He's a guy that transferred in from Vanderbilt. He started the season. He was benched for J.J. Cole. So last week, J.J. Cole was making his 3rd or 4th start. 11:23 remaining in the 4th quarter. J.J. Cole is struggling. They switch back to A.J. Swan, who was the starter at the beginning of the year, and A.J. Swan marches down the field twice, and the final score is 24-21. He actually made the game interesting. So coming into this one, did A.J. Swan win the job back? I mean, from what I'm reading, it looks like he might have won the quarterback job back with that one. The good news for App State is, regardless of who's playing quarterback, I mean, they should be able to score points against this Georgia Southern defense. This is probably the worst defense in the conference. That's I don't even think that's a hot take. I think most would agree this is the worst defense in the conference. Unfortunately, App State's offense is currently hit with the injury bug. Left tackle and right guard, these guys are actually brothers. Trent Ramsey and Jaden Ramsey, they both missed the Old Dominion game, both listed as questionable, and their starting tight end, Cummings, who was actually leading the team in receptions, he's out for the season. So they lost 2 offensive linemen and a tight end. The offensive linemen, the 2 starters, they're listed as questionable. So unfortunately, App State's hit with some injuries on this side of the ball. So I guess the question becomes, regarding the Georgia Southern defense, do we believe it to be that bad where we don't even care about the injuries to App State's offense? We don't even care who's playing quarterback because they're that bad. And based on the season-long numbers, I would say that's a decent take. I will say the Georgia Southern defense might be slightly undervalued. Remember, they opened up the season on the West Coast. This team, Georgia Southern, this team's in Georgia. They started off the season with 2 road games at USC and Fresno. So 2 games in California on the other side of the country, and they just got lit the hell up. They allowed over 50 points per game, 63.8% success rate, 9.7 yards per play is just crazy. So they started off the season with 2 games on the West Coast. They got absolutely smoked. Since they've come back home and they've gotten into conference play, they're not playing good defense. I'm just saying they're playing better. Look at their defensive numbers in their conference games. 32.8 points per game, 46.6% success rate, 6.05 yards per play. This is still not a good defense. I'm just saying when you look at the year-long numbers, it makes it look like, oh, this is the worst defense in the entire country. They might be slightly better than that. And this is an App State offense that has struggled to consistently run the ball. In their last 4 games, they're averaging less than 3.9 yards per carry, 37.4% success rate. I mean, injuries to the offensive line, missing the tight end, uncertainty at quarterback. Maybe there's a path to Georgia Southern playing a decent defensive game. I mean, I think that's crazy to say because this defense is that bad, but I'm not jumping at the opportunity to put my faith in an injured App State offense where I don't even know who the quarterback's going to be, especially an offense that's been struggling to run the ball. So a lot of uncertainty on that side of the ball. Oh, and one more thing I wanted to add when we're talking about the App State offense against the Georgia Southern defense. So Georgia Southern's linebacker and leading tackler, Brandon Harrington, he's a transfer from App State. So he's going home. Well, I don't know if it's actually his home. He's going back to his original program. So a revenge game here for the leading tackler on Georgia Southern. Not sure if that moves the needle. Just thought it was interesting. Why don't we move to the other side of the ball? Because when we're talking about a Georgia Southern football game, the question isn't really, can they make stops? We pretty much know the answer is no, they can't make stops. That's not how Clay Helton has built this team. This is a team that can score. This has been an offensive team under Clay Helton. So the question is, can App State make stops? Well, it does look like Georgia Southern's offense is coming into their own a little bit. J.C. French, in terms of passer rating, coming off his best 2 games of the year. Last 2 games, 209 yards per game isn't the normal pass-first offense type numbers we're used to seeing. They were running the ball a little bit too, but a 126 NFL passer rating. Certainly efficient, and this is an App State defense that has been consistently thrown on. Look at their last 6 games. They're allowing over 7.8 yards per pass attempt, 44.7% success rate per dropback, over 288 passing yards per game. Now you got Southern Miss and Boise, some elite offenses in there. But you also got Coastal. They can't throw the ball. Old Dominion's a running team, but an elite offense. Georgia State, that offense isn't anything crazy. Oregon State, not an offense that scares you. So this is an App State defense that's been getting thrown on, and J.C. French is capable of throwing the ball. I think we should see a fast-paced game with a lot of points. Where's this total as? Is it still 62.5? Yeah, 62.5. This total hasn't moved, huh? I'd go over. At 6.5, I would lean towards Georgia Southern. I would probably make the game like 4. So at 6.5, I'd lean towards Georgia Southern. But the injuries to App State's offense and Georgia Southern's defense being so bad, I can't bet Georgia Southern. Their defense is too bad. So give me the over, 62.5. Thanks for watching live shows at midnight Eastern time. As always, if you're able to make it, we'd love to see you in the comments. As far as these 2 games I just talked about, by the way, and I didn't place a bet on either of them. I don't know if I made that clear. I could see myself throwing a few dollars on UTSA, but more so just doing some gambling. The market seems to really like it at a strong 13.5. I think that's overkill. So I can see myself betting UTSA to keep it competitive. So yeah, see you guys tomorrow.